I grew up on that shit. WWE, baby.
The floor's yours.
Dude, I used to be a big fan. Me and Lindsay used to like wrestle all the time, and like our parents would have to call it. But like Kane, the Hulk. Oh my God, I used to watch the Hulk all the time. The reality TV show. John Cena was just the absolute best, man. Actually, they asked me to do it. You know, maybe after I retire or off season, maybe us two will be the new WWE duo.
So get this, Sophie Cunningham just threw down a massive challenge to an absolute WWE legend. And the part that's actually sending the internet into a frenzy is that Nikki Bella actually said yes. I'm serious. This isn't just some random rumor. The Phoenix Mercury guard was doing this podcast interview, just casually opening up about how much she lived and breathed wrestling as a kid. And of course, she brought up the iconic Bella twins.
We're talking about
but what started as a simple wouldn't it be cool moment quickly turned into something much bigger, and now there are real legitimate conversations happening all over social media about making this match an actual reality.
Tradition and legends, the great John Cena is retiring from the WWE after 24 years. He tapped out of his last match. Guys, he's obviously an OG and one of the Fast and Furious greats. But what do you guys think about just like wrestling as a whole in his career?
I grew up on that shit. WWE, baby.
Okay.
The floor's yours.
Dude, I used to be a big fan. Me and Lindsay used to like wrestle all the time, and like our parents would have to call it. But like Kane, the Hulk. Oh my God, I used to watch the Hulk all the time. The reality TV show. John Cena was just the absolute best, man. Actually, they asked me to do it. You know, maybe after I retire or off season, maybe us two will be the new WWE duo.
We're literally looking at a professional WNBA player potentially going head to head with a WWE Hall of Famer in the ring. I don't think anyone had WNBA versus WWE crossover on their 2024-2025 bingo card, but here we are. And now every sports fan on the planet wants to see if this can actually happen. It really makes you wonder, when exactly did pro basketball players start feeling bold enough to believe they could step into the squared circle and trade blows with literal WWE legends? It's a wild shift in the sports landscape, and people are absolutely here for the drama.
Okay, so you talked about wanting to be in the WWE. If you were to do that, who would you want to go against in the ring the most?
Girl, I do not even know. Like, I grew up, I haven't even watched it in so long.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what my name would be. I know it'd be like something spicy and
yes.
feisty.
Like SC, like power, like something. Like
something.
SC, like something.
It
like
has
that.
to be. But what about the twins? Do you remember their
Nikki
twins?
Bella?
Yes, the Bella twins.
I forgot the other Bella.
So like, I think it'd be fun to like either partner with them or like go against them.
Yeah, I mean,
so
like,
that's what I would choose.
Yeah, I think they're like the best.
Oh,
so.
well, I'm hopefully gonna take away
Yes.
their shine one day.
Yes, you will. I believe in you. Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. It's nice meeting.
Alright, let's take a second to really break down this completely wild exchange between Sophie Cunningham and Nikki Bella, because honestly, this is either the most brilliant publicity move we've seen all year, or we're witnessing the literal ground floor of the most unexpected sports crossover in history. Sophie was recently a guest on a podcast, and she was just doing the typical athlete thing, talking about her childhood and how much she absolutely loved watching the WWE. Now that's pretty standard, right? You hear athletes mention their hobbies or what they watched growing up all the time, and usually it's just filler for the interview. Nothing unusual there, just a fun fact for the fans to chew on. But here's where things took a major turn. Sophie didn't just stop at saying she was a fan. She went way further and flat out said she'd actually want to step into that ring herself and mix it up. And she didn't just give a vague answer either. She named the Bella twins specifically as the one she'd want to go up against. That's a bold move, and you have to respect the confidence it takes to call out two of the biggest names in the history of women's wrestling while you're still in the middle of your own professional basketball career. Now, for anyone out there who might not be super familiar with who Nikki Bella is, let me just set the stage for you so you understand the gravity of this situation. Nikki Bella and her twin sister Brie weren't just wrestlers, they were absolute undisputed powerhouses in the WWE for more than a decade. We're talking about a two-time WWE Divas champion here. And get this, Nikki actually held that championship belt for a record-setting 301 days straight, which is an incredible feat of endurance and dominance in an industry that is known for for being incredibly fickle. She hasn't just been a background player. Nikki has been front and center for some of the most high-profile matches and massive storylines that the WWE has ever produced. Beyond the ring, her life was basically a highlight reel. She was in a very public relationship with John Cena, who is arguably one of the biggest stars to ever step foot in a ring, and she's a genuine A-list celebrity. Between her success on reality television and her various business ventures, she has millions upon millions of people following her every single move. She's a legend in every sense of the word, which makes Sophie's call out even more daring. Normally, when a professional athlete says something like this during a random interview, absolutely nothing comes of it. It's just podcast talk that exists for that one episode and then gets buried in the feed and forgotten within a few days. We've seen it 1,000 times before where players talk about what they do in another sport, and it just fades away. But that's not what happened this time around. Apparently, Nikki Bella caught wind of the clip, and she didn't just scroll past it or give a generic PR answer. She actually took the time to respond, and she did not hold back at all. And then you have Sophie Cunningham, a tough-as-nails 6-foot guard playing for the Phoenix Mercury, who just casually threw it out there that she'd want to wrestle her. Sophie admitted she hasn't been keeping up with every single WWE show lately, but the Bella twins clearly left a lasting impression on her from her younger days. She mentioned it would be incredible to either team up with them as a duo or face them across the ring in a high-stakes one-on-one match. It was a pretty laid-back way to call someone out. Honestly, not hostile or rude, just a fan genuinely thinking it would be a fun challenge to take on if the opportunity ever presented itself. Nikki dropped a comment on social media that sent shockwaves through both the WNBA and WWE communities, saying she'll take Sophie on one-on-one, and she even added a kiss emoji and a hands-up emoji for good measure. Now, in the world of social media, that's not just a polite nod or a thanks for the mention. That is a straight-up 100% acceptance of the challenge. That's her way of looking Sophie in the eyes, virtually speaking, and saying, "Alright girl, you really want to do this. Let's make it happen and see what you've actually got when the lights are bright." And if you know anything about Sophie Cunningham, you know she isn't the type to back down from a fight or a challenge. She didn't hesitate for even a second before firing back with an "oh hell yeah" along with some fire emojis to keep the heat going. And just like that, what started as a casual comment has transformed into a potential WNBA versus WWE showdown that's building massive momentum across every social platform. Sports fans everywhere are going absolutely wild right now, trying to figure out if this is a legitimate competitive spark or just a well-orchestrated show for the cameras. But let's get one thing straight before we get ahead of ourselves and start booking arena dates. Everyone knows that the WWE isn't actual combat in the way the UFC is. It's scripted entertainment where the results are planned out and the moves are coordinated. But here's the thing that people constantly overlook: it is also incredibly brutally physical. These WWE wrestlers are elite athletes who train their bodies non-stop to absorb a level of physical punishment that would break most regular people. They perform high-impact moves that require insane strength, world-class conditioning, and a pain tolerance that is just off the charts. So when Sophie talks about getting in that ring with Nikki Bella, she's not talking about a casual game of horse or a light workout. She's talking about entering a savage environment where a single misstep or a botched landing can literally end a career. However, Sophie isn't just some random person talking trash without any context. She grew up in a house where wrestling was basically a way of life. She used to wrestle around with her sister Lindsay so much that their parents literally had to step in and break it up because things would get way too heated and competitive. She even called John Cena her all-time favorite, calling him the absolute best to ever do it. And here is the real kicker. Sophie actually revealed that the WWE has already reached out to her. They've approached her about potentially working together, maybe after her basketball career, or even during a future offseason. With the WNBA having its biggest year ever thanks to the explosion of stars like Caitlin Clark, and Sophie's aggressive, trash-talking personality and signature look, she's a perfect fit for the WWE world. This isn't just a fantasy anymore. There have been real discussions, and that means we might actually see the Spicy Phoenix in a WWE ring sooner than you think.